Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, August the 26th. The Atlantic Basin tropical scene is still quiet, even though we're now well into the month of August, not too far away from the peak season, the climatological peak season of the Atlantic Basin tropical season, which tends to be around the middle part of September. Again, very quiet right now, probably quiet through the remainder of the work week. There is a chance that a system forms over the northwestern part of the Gulf of Mexico, let's say later this weekend into the early part of next week. We'll talk about that over the next few minutes here. Probably the two most active areas in the nation today will be the northeastern states and the northern plains. Vigorous upper level features in both of those parts of the country. And this is the severe weather probability outlook for today and tonight by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center. The biggest concern is across the northern plains from South Dakota across the heart of Minnesota into the western part of Wisconsin, an enhanced risk of severe weather later on today, and really that extends all the way across Wisconsin, even into western Michigan, and to the west into the eastern part of Wyoming, all associated with a vigorous upper level feature and a strong cold frontal system. Meanwhile, in the northeastern states, also strong vorticity maxima sliding south and east across New England can cause strong to severe thunderstorms later today from Boston down to New York City and even all the way down to D.C. There's a chance of some strong to severe thunderstorm activity later on this afternoon into the evening hours. Now, this cold frontal system that today produces the potential severe weather in the northern plains shifts to the east on Tuesday, increasing the chance for some severe weather over the Great Lakes on Tuesday, and then finally into the mid-Atlantic region on Wednesday afternoon and especially Wednesday night. That cold frontal system will be preceded by some very hot weather on Wednesday afternoon in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, with high temperatures on Wednesday going well up in the 90s, but then that cool front passes through the region on Wednesday night, leading to much cooler conditions Thursday and Friday. Notice also a second system for the northern plains later on this week. Well, let's take a quick look at the latest radar loop in the northeastern states from the College of DuPage weather website. A couple of areas of interest right now. Again, we talked about that threat with a vorticity maxima over New England. And here we have some thunderstorm activity already across the coastal sections of New England. And the threat today, Boston down to Providence, all the way down to New York City, associated with that vorticity maxima. And also a kind of a streamer, a line of what look to be quite impressive showers and perhaps embedded thunderstorms from Lake Erie across northwestern PA now into the western part of Pennsylvania. On this particular track, looks like these may end up over, let's say, the western suburbs, the Virginia suburbs of D.C. later on this afternoon into the evening. And again, that's why there's a threat later today into this evening for strong to severe thunderstorms in D.C. So New York City north and east associated with the vortmax over New England. And this little streamer here can cause some strong to severe thunderstorms in D.C. later on today into tonight. Philly, southeastern PA, there is a chance of a shower and thunderstorm this afternoon into the evening, but probably more of a chance across New York City to the north and east, and more of a chance to D.C. to the south and west. Well, let's now take a look at the computer forecast models. In this case, we're looking at the 0Z run of the GFS. This is the total rainfall amounts over the next 10 days. A couple areas of interest here. First of all, across the northern plains, this is most likely associated with today's system. There is a second system coming Thursday night time frame for the northern plains, but that enhanced risk of severe weather later today extends from South Dakota across Minnesota into Wisconsin. So this area certainly looks like it'll be in store for some significant rainfall amounts. Also significant for the next 10 days across mostly the southern mid-Atlantic into the Carolinas. And this is the area of interest that could be associated with a Gulf tropical system. Again, later this weekend going into the early part of next week, there's a chance for a system to develop in the northwestern Gulf that indeed could bring some significant rainfall, if it does develop, across Texas later this weekend into the early part of next week. Well, we've talked about the vorticity field, and here is the forecast loop from the Zero-Z GFS. Again, a vigorous system with a lot of northwest flow across the northeastern states. Somewhat unusual to have northwest flow aloft and yet the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms, but indeed that can happen with northwest flow aloft as long as there is a vigorous upper level feature, and there's a lot of vorticity over New England this morning. Again, really from Boston down to Providence and New York City, there can be strong to severe thunderstorms, and that threat extends all the way down to the DC metro region for later on this afternoon into tonight. And here is a impressive upper level feature now sliding east from the northern Rockies towards the northern plains, and we'll see later on today it enhances the upward motion all across this area from the Dakotas to Minnesota, Wisconsin, hence the chance for severe weather later on today. And again, possibility of some strong storms over the northeastern states. We'll move forward here, and this system over the northern plains is associated with a strong cold frontal system. By Tuesday, that front starts to increase the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms over the Great Lakes, and then by Wednesday it slides all the way into the southeastern part of Canada and the northeastern part of the U.S. There will be a cold frontal system here that slowly sinks to the south during the day on Wednesday into Wednesday night. Now, ahead of that cold front on Wednesday, it turns very hot. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, the hottest day of the week, with high temperatures well up in the 90s in those three metro areas. Then, late in the day, early Wednesday night, right here, there's a lot of vorticity here that'll settle down across the mid-Atlantic region associated with that surface cold front, and likely bringing another round of heavy showers, strong to severe thunderstorms to the mid-Atlantic region. So you have a threat later today and tonight, at least in parts of the northeastern U.S. And again, late Wednesday night with that cold front system. Notice another strong upper level low sliding across south central Canada, and that'll bring another round of potential severe weather over the northern plains Thursday night time frame. Meanwhile, cooler air moves into the northeast behind the midweek frontal passage, so that Thursday and especially Friday, much cooler than Wednesday, again, when temperatures can go well up in the 90s on Wednesday afternoon in that I-95 corridor region. By Friday afternoon, some of those areas, same areas, could see afternoon highs confined to the 70s behind that cold frontal system. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the Zero-Z GFS. Again, already seeing some scattered thunderstorms over New England and western Pennsylvania coming from Lake Erie, south and east, can make their way into the DC metro region later on today. And here's that kind of a streamer at midday, and then by late today it moves right over the DC metro area, and again can be a strong to severe thunderstorm in New York City, Boston, Providence later on today. And here's a setup for the northern plains. By early tonight, it becomes enhanced from eastern South Dakota across central Minnesota into western Wisconsin, even a surface low pressure area along that strong cold front. That cold front slides in the Great Lakes on Tuesday and then into the northeastern states by Wednesday afternoon. And here we go, by Wednesday evening, you can see that cold front kind of settling slowly to the south and east, all backed up by strong Canadian high to the north over southeastern Canada. But this frontal system certainly can result in some severe weather late Wednesday and especially Wednesday night in the mid-Atlantic region. That cold front continues to slide to the south and east, and here we are on Thursday with high pressure over southeastern Canada, and certainly cooler air filters down to the east of the Appalachians for Thursday and especially for Friday. And by Friday, that frontal system kind of stalls out across the Carolinas, and it becomes quite unsettled by Thursday night and Friday in the Carolinas, southern mid-Atlantic region. Again, watch out for a second potent system over the northern plains Thursday night time frame going into the early hours on Friday. And that too can produce some severe weather. Then over the weekend, early next week, we'll watch out in the Gulf of Mexico for a possibility of a tropical system. But for now, the Atlantic Basin remains quite quiet. That's it for now. For ArcFieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.